International travel is very unique as you get to fly from one country to another. Today we're flying from San Francisco, California, United States to Tokyo, Japan, a route that will take around 11 hours, which is roughly the same amount of time flying from San Francisco to Frankfurt, Germany. This will be my first international flight since 2017, so without further delay, let's fly to Japan. Welcome to San Francisco International Airport, where I just arrived in Concourse E at gate E13 from Philadelphia. Our connection time is about 1 hour, and our next flight to Tokyo departs out of Concourse G. Concourses E, F, and G are connected by walkways, and it took us a good while to get from Concourse E to G. Concourse G is the international terminal serving all international flights for United Airlines, along with Air China, Air New Zealand, All Nippon Airways, Lufthansa, and Swiss. Like the other concourses at SFO, Concourse G has a lot of restaurants and duty-free shops. By the time we got to gate G3, the gate area was largely empty, as most of the plane has already boarded. After a quick passport check and having to check in our carry-on bags, we then walked down this jetway to board the airplane. We're on November 204 Uniform Alpha, which is one of the 55 active Boeing 777-200ERs in United's fleet, which offers two versions of cabins. Version 1 is the most commonly used on international flights, and that's the exact cabin that we're flying on today. This particular configuration has 50 seats in Polaris business class in the 121 configuration, 24 premium plus seats in the 242 configuration, 46 economy plus seats, and 156 economy seats in a 343 configuration. Today I'm on the back in seat 41A. On the seat back you have a seat back entertainment screen with a USB port and two headphone jacks. There's a literature pocket right beneath the entertainment screen, a tray table with interesting latch, and 31 inches of legroom. Now because this is an international flight, all economy class passengers are greeted by this blanket and pair of pillows. Soon the flight attendants came around passing around headphones and earphones. Surprisingly, I grabbed both the headphones and earphones, but I ended up only using the headphones. And looking down, there are power outlets for every seat.
Tokyo Narita International Airport. Just a quick update. We're waiting for about 30 passengers who are connecting. We got a tight connection, so we're just going to hold for a few more minutes for those passengers so that they can flight.
We're not leaving yet. We do have just a few last-minute passengers that are getting seated. Once they are seated and their luggage is loaded into the cargo pit underneath, we'll be on our way. Right now they have us posted as a 5-0, the 10:50 departure. I expect we'll be out of here before that, but still expecting an on-time arrival into Narita. Thank you.
Welcome aboard our flight to Tokyo Narita International Airport. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thanks to all of our customers for choosing to fly with us today. On behalf of our entire United team, we're here today to have a great flight. In command of our flight today is Captain Daniel Joseph Madden. This is my first officer, Eric and Ron. My name is Josh. I'll be flying as international first on today's flight. The captain has informed us the flight time is about 10 hours and 40 minutes to take off the touchdown. Joining me in the cabin today are 9 other United pilot safety professionals, including those who speak Japanese. If you need language assistance on the flight today, please let us know. We'll be happy to assist you. In a few moments, we'd like to show you a video that highlights the safety features on board our Boeing 777 aircraft. We know that many of you are frequent travelers, but just to reinforce what you already know about this particular aircraft, or if somebody sitting around you who's never been on board, would you request 5 minutes of your undivided attention to the video, as this will be the most important safety information you receive from us on the flight today.
The safety card located on your seat. It's important to have your seatbelt on at all times. So fasten your seatbelt, slide the metal end into the buckle. Tighten by pulling the loose end of the strap. Lift the buckle to release. When the seatbelt sign is on, your seatbelt must be fastened below.
In order to familiarize yourself with the aircraft, this Boeing 777 has 8 exit doors, 4 on each side of the aircraft. doors are opened in an emergency, slide rafts will automatically inflate. In a water landing, slide rafts detach from the aircraft and are used as life rafts. All 8 exits are marked with overhead signs.
Okay, people, balance, coming,
Yes.
I give you a Christmas present.
Happy holidays.
I think we're all in for a very big night. You want that? Who's ready to ride?
21 minutes after takeoff, the crew started the in-flight service. They first handed out the savory snack mix, which consists of bagel chips, garlic bread bites, and mini pretzels. Immediately right after, drinks were handed out. I decided to go for water. With lunch service on the way, here's a look at the tray table. Now this interesting latch that I mentioned earlier tends to lock the tray table in place if it's not being used. The table is also fixed in place, meaning it cannot be pulled towards you. Lunch service was served 1 hour after takeoff, and there are 3 total options: ground pork, rigatoni pasta, or crispy chicken tossed. I went with the chicken option, which was served with rice and vegetables. This was served alongside a salad with 2 tomatoes and a cucumber, a bread roll, a cheesecake brownie for dessert, butter, and wooden utensils. And for drink, I went with apple juice. Now I have to be honest, I used to not like airplane food, but after this meal, I can say that this is one of the best ones I ever had. Water bottles were handed out shortly after the meal service. A few minutes later, flight attendants turned off all the cabin lights, hence the reason why it is so dark, which makes it easier for passengers who want to sleep. After sitting in my seat for about 3 hours, I decided to get up and move around the cabin. Looking into the cabin, almost every passenger in economy class is making use of their in-flight entertainment screen. Speaking of the in-flight entertainment system, let's have a look at all the features that you'll find. First up, what's currently in view is the flight map view. This lists all of the viewing options, whether it be a roof view, window view, aircraft view, and so on. There's a long list of movies and TV shows on offer, which is definitely keep you entertained on this long flight. Next up is the Spotify option, which houses all podcasts, playlists, and audiobooks. United is the only major US airline to feature a live flight deck audio channel, where you can listen to communications between pilots and air traffic control. Moving on into the kids' movies and TV shows, where there's a collection of movies and TV shows made just for kids. You can also check weather at your destination and finally learn information about United Airlines. Here's one major drawback at watching movies on United. Before watching your show, you'll have to sit through several advertisements. Now, I didn't seem to mind it, but I'm sure for others, it is very annoying. Halfway through the flight, the crew passed out the mid-flight snack. Now, despite there being 2 options for the mid-flight snack on the United app, there was only one major option, this being this green shark chicken sandwich. I'll be honest, it was the most spicy food I ever had on a plane, but it's okay in my opinion. And for drink, I had water. One feature on the IV screen that I want to point out is the brightness. You can simply increase or decrease the brightness, but I would recommend to lower your brightness in a dark cabin, which is considerate for your seatmates next to you who want to sleep. The cabin lights just turned on in anticipation of the breakfast service. Of the two main options, either egg omelet or apple pancakes, I went with the apple pancakes, and for drink I went with orange juice. Alongside the pancakes was a fresh fruit cup with pineapples and grapes, some sort of bread roll that I can't really remember what it was, some butter, and for the second time, more wooden utensils. Overall, another great meal. The pancakes were warm and well prepared, the fruit was fresh, and the bread roll was not rock solid hard and was easy to take bites.
Time to get up, stretch your legs, use facilities one last time. Flight is becoming to the bow and foot door opening service items. Once we do a third descent, and the captain turns on that seatbelt sign, that'll be for the final time before we land. So, once again, now it's time to get up, stretch your legs, use those facilities before we arrive. If you need any assistance, let's go and get your carry-on items please up front of us.
We've now begun our final descent into Tokyo. With this flight drawing to a close, here's my honest take on this flight. Service-wise, it was definitely very good. The TV screens were definitely very responsive. A huge difference from 8 years ago. The food on board was very good. Main courses were well prepared. I especially loved the cheesecake brownies for dessert earlier in the flight on the first meal. The crew on board were very hardworking, especially during the meal service. And in all honesty, United Airlines has definitely changed a lot since the last time I flew with them. It's definitely surreal to be traveling internationally again. Even after all this time, we put off international travel plans due to the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and possibly some other stuff. But in the meantime, these are landing on runway 34 left at Narita International Airport.
Narita International Airport, serving the city of Tokyo. It is Tuesday, December the 9th, 2:53 p.m. We'll be taxiing for the next few minutes. Please do remain seated with your seatbelt comfortably fastened and all of those carrying items stowed until we're safely at the gate. The captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. Once he does turn off the seatbelt sign and you go to retrieve those belongings from the overhead compartments, we do request you use caution when opening those compartments, as the contents have a tendency to move around during the landing. Before you exit the aircraft today, please double check your surroundings to ensure that you have all of your personal belongings before you depart from the aircraft. Once you do deplane, you will not be permitted to re-enter for any reason. If you're seated in the exit row, please make sure you keep all of those electronic devices unplugged until we have arrived at the gate. Once we do arrive at the gate, our airport team will be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. And of course, your feedback is always important to us here at United. Some of you may receive a survey asking about your experience on the flight today via email or the United app. We'd love to hear your experience with the flight today. If you do have connections here at the Narita International Airport, please do pick up your checked luggage before clearing customs and then proceed to the domestic connection counter. And as a reminder, the Japanese Animal Quarantine Service of the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries has advised that if you visited overseas locations and you have been in contact with domestic livestock, or if you plan to come into contact with livestock in Japan, you must visit the animal quarantine counter located in the baggage claim area upon entering Japan. On behalf of your entire this is on Gross Road, come check them out.
Sao mà đi thẳng thẳng này?
Thank you so much for watching my first ever international flight video. We'll have a 2-hour connection here in Narita before flying on our last flight of the journey to Cebu, Philippines. Until I see you next time, take care and have a wonderful day.